Hello, everyone, and so I need to do something a little unique, and I was going to try and do this specific way. However, I discovered that the developers decided to remove certain things from the main version of retail having to do with Pandaria in order to include it here in Remix. What I mean by that is, while this is the Alliance version of the playthrough, there is something I actually forgot about to do before we started. So, you probably noticed in the first part that Rogers at one point said, "That's for Theramore." And I forgot that the event of Theramore actually did take place before the events of Pandaria. So, before Pandaria came out, we had the pre-patch event. You know, the pre-launch, pre-patch event that we usually always have for every expansion. The one that was for Pandaria was the Theramore's Fall scenario. Now, scenarios were a brand new thing that they added, which I thought was really cool. And they haven't really done that much with since then, in terms of us queuing for them. There have been times where they have become unique things, like the Weapon Quest and Legion were basically scenarios. But not like they are here in Pandaria. So there was a scenario for one on each side that told about what happened at Theramore. There was also a book that came out called Tides of War, which focused a lot on Jaina. Now, I actually have not gotten around to reading that book. And when I say reading, I mean listening to the audiobook. I haven't gotten around to it yet, even though I actually do have it. However, I do have kind of an idea of some of the things that happened in the book, which have to do with what we're about to do. So, in order to showcase the story of this, I have to first show the Horde side of the scenario, and then show the Alliance side of the scenario, because the Alliance side literally takes place at the end of the Horde scenario. So, what basically happens is, Garrosh, first of all, he's an idiot. And he wanted to go about claiming all of Kalimdor for his own, and he hated the fact that there was this Alliance city named Theramore not too far away from Orgrimmar, even though Jaina and Thrall had been on peaceful terms and such. So Garrosh started committing a lot of forces to take it over, or even destroy it, because Garrosh is, he's like Malik. He'd rather destroy something than actually conquer it, even though he literally tries to conquer it after he destroys it because he's a moron. But anyways. So, he commits lots of these forces, which commits a lot more forces to Theramore to defend it. Now, something else happened that then led to what we are about to see. So, back in Burning Crusade, we discovered, if we go to Outland, there were a few places in particular, a couple in Terakar Forest, like the Cenarian Thicket, as well as, here in the Netherstorm, that had something happened. It was called a mana bomb. Now, they were dangerous and devastating on their own. But then something else happened. In Wrath, we took down Malagos in the Nexus. Well, after that, they sent in some people to go kind of clean up. And from that, they actually got something from the Nexus called a Focusing Iris, which is an extremely powerful source of mana. Well, Garrosh, first of all, he claimed victory over Malagos, as in he claimed that he was the one who took down Malagos instead of us. Once again, another case of Garrosh trying to claim credit for something that we, the players, did. And he then decided to have these Blood Elves who were not really working on behalf of Silvermoon, because Lord Thamar and the others didn't really know about this. But some of these Blood Elves were like, yeah, sure, we'll go ahead and make a mana bomb out of this thing, which was using this thing from the Nexus to make a mana bomb would make a real-life atomic bomb seem very tame and mild in comparison. So Garrosh decided he wanted to use that on Theramore. And that led us to this scenario. Now, I wanted to do this solo and just kind of like take my time to show it, but it's been disabled in regular retail. I can only access the scenario in Remix. I cannot do this in regular retail, my main characters. So I figured, okay, fine, I'll just go ahead and do this in Remix, I suppose. I'll have to do this, queue up for the same scenario on both of our characters that I've chosen for Remix to do these playthroughs on. But I'm specifically showing it on the Alliance because it's more relevant for the story of the Alliance side of things than it is for the Horde side of things. Because for one thing, it's going to very much explain what's going on with Jaina during this expansion, because this had, needless to say, a monumental impact on Jaina. Like, the book is literally dedicated to her change and experience and how much of an impact this had on her. Not just, like, from the emotional, traumatic part of it, but as I will try to show, if the other players will allow me, as I said, being able to do this properly with 2 other players is unfortunately going to be a bit of an issue.
The unthinkable has happened. Our siege on Theramore has failed. You're the contingency plan. Your mission is to infiltrate Theramore Isle, burn their ships, butcher their flight master, sabotage their war machines, and rescue our spy. Throw them into chaos while we regroup. The eyes of Hellscream are upon you!
So, you can even see that at this point we have been able to establish quite a foothold because we even have a ship in their dock, which is saying something. So at this point, what we're supposed to be doing, it apparently just also gave me the title, The Proven Assailant. Is, of course, trying to damage these ships and such.
I'm out of range.
Taking out some of these lieutenants that are manning these ships and controlling them in this harbor. As we continue our assault into Theramore, prepping it for, well, what you're about to see. Oops. Slipped and fell. So yes, we're going into these ships and putting these barrels in them that are going to just straight up, you know,
I need a target.
Wreck these ships, because of course Garrosh doesn't mind not only destroying these things around him before he claims them, because he's an idiot, but he's also a bloodthirsty monster who doesn't mind seeing lots of people killed, no matter how innocent they are. Garrosh is the kind of person that doesn't give a crap about civilians getting in the line of fire. But again, he did nothing wrong, right? I actually heard that when this event happened, a lot of players said this is where... They said the Horde crossed the line, and I'm like, okay, why are you saying it's the Horde instead of just Garrosh? But then again, it's the same argument we also heard with the likes of Sylvanas, that they think, okay, it's not just, you know, the Horde here, because if you follow it, you're just responsible, which is a valid point and argument to make. I will go ahead and acquiesce to that. That is an excellent point. Why does it say that? I've already marked this barrel. Why is it? I don't know. Because I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we already got these.
Huh! 'Cause I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we already got these.
Because I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm pretty sure we already got these.
Huh!
There's something specific I want to show off in this scenario, but I'm concerned that the players may not let me, because they'll want to finish this as fast as they can. Here's Blastmaster Spark Fuse.
Yo, can I help you with something?
We've rigged the powder barrels in every ship.
Yeesh! Took my head off.
The ships are aflame! Troops to the harbor!
I need to get closer.
What I like about the scenarios is how story-focused they are. Sorry if the sound drowned me out there. What I was saying is that I love how story-focused they are.
I need to get closer. I'm out of range.
So now we have to destroy a tank called Big Bessa.
I don't have a target.
They're probably looking at me like, why are you going this way? I'm like, because I'm trying to find something specific. Besides, what we're supposed to attack is over here. I'm trying to see. I think, is it up here, I think? Yeah, it is. So if you look over here, there's Caligos, there's Ronan, and there's Jaina. I point that out because I want you to remember that for later, towards the end of this. What's funny is you can go in there and you can actually go ahead and attack them. No, thank you. Get it? Get away from it before it explodes! I'm actually curious. It's probably not possible, because I'm sure that they would just annihilate me. But you can go in there and attack them. In fact, he looks like he's going to. He's like, I'm going to get him. No! They will insta-kill you. Thank you for just demonstrating that for me, Maverick 2. Yeah, but just keep in mind that they are in there. Keep that in mind for later. So now that we have done some of those, we're now supposed to go in here and take someone down and free the spy that we have in here, which helped create the mana bomb.
I need to get closer.
Hedrick Evankane.
Aid my attack! No. The captain of the guard. Outstanding!
Oh, they went downstairs and triggered the cutscene. So the dialogue is playing for the guy downstairs because another player went in there. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this by myself.
My thanks. Shall we make our way off this miserable little island? The failed siege was merely a feint, of course. You didn't realize?
This
Even
guy.
now an airship draws near. Its arcane payload will flatten Theramore Isle, and everyone's still standing upon it. There we go. Should you pass through Silvermoon City, come and say hello, Al Diel Shala.
So that guy was one of those who helped create, well, take a look.
We're gonna turn this place into a sinkhole!
So unfortunately, the cutscene is bugged. Because you didn't even see the bomb itself actually drop. And I want to really emphasize this because that doesn't properly show off the kind of, you know, the kind of devastation that a bomb like that does. The kind of magical energy that does that. So that's the Horde side of that scenario. Now I'm going to show you what happens after that on the Alliance side. So when that happened, Kalagos and Jaina were barely able to escape and barely survive that. The reason that happened is because they were able to get a portal open, and Ronan shoved Jaina through the portal to make sure she survived, which meant he stayed behind and died. So Ronan died from that explosion. Kalagos and Jaina barely survived. However, when it comes to what happened to Jaina, she still got an impact from that blast because it literally affected her. For one thing, that's how she got all of her new white hair. Now, for the longest time, I assumed that Jaina had just simply kind of like decided to go with that hairstyle look, or that maybe as she got older, more of her hair got white. I mean, I'm 35 years old, and I already have a little bit of white hair growing. It's not much, it's just a little bit right here, but, you know, that was just my assumption for the longest time. It wasn't until I learned about this scenario that I found out that the magic impact from that bomb literally hit her and changed a lot of her hair to white, but it didn't just change her hair. It literally had a change on her as in terms of her personality. Now, people look at this and say this is the reason why then Jaina gets much more hostile and antagonistic, and there is some credit to, like, some viable weight to that claim, but not a lot, because there's also a number of other things going on with Jaina that really just push her in that direction, where she goes from being a peacemaker to, let's just say, this really pushes her in the opposite direction. And again, from what I understand, the book goes into more detail about this Tides of War, to the point where the effects of this event, of what happened to Theramore, just breaks Jaina. Like, not the initial bombing itself, but other things that happen and follow do, in fact, really push her in that direction. And it's not good. It led to some of the things and the memes that people started saying about her, such as, she's a dreadlord. And it was just, it kind of came from these events. And Pandaria is really where that stuff started, even whether or not it's legit or not. But again, this is one of the things, because a lot of people only got one half of that story, and they didn't get all the little extra details. And of course, a lot of people didn't read the book to get the extra details. A lot of people don't want to bother having to go to a book to get the rest of the actual story. They shouldn't have to. I'm one of those who believes that while it's an interesting little extra thing, and it's nice to be able to actually go, you know, get some extra details and enrich the story and lore in a book, you shouldn't have to go to the book to get the entire story. So now this is the Alliance version of that scenario, which takes place immediately after that bomb drops. So it's the exact same cutscene as you saw, so... So yeah, they're like here to see if they can either find survivors and such. But you also notice that there's already a bunch of Garrosh's grunts that are here, trying to take this place over. This is what I'm talking about. They nuked this place, and then they move in and be like, all right, this pile of debris and dust is ours now.
I need a target.
Which just seems a little odd, doesn't it? But then again, that's Garrosh.
I'm out of range. I don't have a target.
So this is what's left of Theramore.
I need to
Now,
get closer.
in all honesty, a lot of the debris here should be even more worse than it actually is. But yeah. Just kind of wanting to show off, like, look at the devastation here. The buildings that were right there, just gone.
It is too far away. I need to get closer. I need to target something first.
My muscle memory is fighting me here.
I'm out of range. I need a target.
Apparently we missed one. Oh, we gotta go with that one over there. You don't need to slay the peons. They're just working. Like they just have job to do.
I need to target something first.
They're not the kind of work.
I don't have a target. I need a target. I'm out of range.
There's the captain. Now we get off the ship. Fight to the heart of ruined Theramore. Gashnell, you'll never leave Theramore alive!
It is too far away. I need to get closer.
Locate Jaina in the Mana Bomb crater. Yeah. This is the crater of the Mana Bomb.
This aberration destroyed everything. Everyone. The Horde cannot be allowed to recover the focusing iris. Eliminate what remains of their forces, and I will secure the artifact.
So, yeah, this is Jaina after she's been affected by the bomb. That's why her hair is now mostly white. And you're going to notice a shift in her personality from here on out. Like, up through Cataclysm, she was basically the same as she had been before. This is where her personality takes a shift. Partly because the magic from the Mana Bomb has literally affected her personality. It had that kind of powerful effect on her. Gosh, I'm hitting the button for the hunt, and I'm realizing I don't have it yet. It's weird playing a class when you haven't leveled it yet without all the tools that you usually have when you're used to playing it high content. And then you're like, oh gosh, I don't have that ability that I really like.
I need to get closer.
But yeah, look at this. Garrosh decided, alright, we've destroyed this place, now let's move in and conquer it. Let's move in and conquer this pile of debris that we've destroyed. If you're going to conquer something, you don't want to destroy it. You actually want to preserve it so you can actually use it. There's no actually making use of something after you destroyed it. I mean, it's possible, but you're making it much harder on yourself. If your intention is to conquer, you move in and preserve as much as you can so you can just simply take over what's already there. Otherwise, you're just straight up destroying stuff, destroying something you want to use, and you're just making it just completely unnecessary, you know?
It is too far away.
The peons are like, hey, give those back!
I need to get closer. I don't have a target.
No one can protect you. Kill the Proudmoore wench. And bring me that
Your
bomb!
people are despicable cowards, Orc. You're nothing more than rabid dogs, and you will be put down!
It is too far away. I need to get closer. I need to target something first.
All of you have my deepest thanks. With the focusing iris removed, this lifeless bomb is merely a sickening testament to Garrosh's brutality. The winds of change blow fiercely. Azeroth is on the brink of war. My apologies, but you must excuse me. I have much to consider. Farewell.
So, more events happen. It eventually leads her to a point where she is just so devastated and just pushed in that direction by the events of Theramore. She actually goes to Orgrimmar and tries to destroy the city. I'm serious. She actually goes to Orgrimmar and tries to cover it in a giant flood. And Thrall, keep in mind, I want to remind you all the amount of civilians that are in Orgrimmar. But then again, there were a lot of civilians in Theramore, so Jaina was at that point where she was thinking, you know what, it's a fair trade, I guess, at this point, because that's how far this had not only pushed her, but also how much the magic of the Mana Bomb affected her. Thrall went there to try and talk her down, and he was failing. He was even also trying to use his powers as a shaman to hold off her power to flood the city. And he was losing. She was literally beating him as they were trying this magic power struggle where she was like winning the battle against him to try and flood the city. It took Caligos showing up to help talk her down. there is also this thing about a possible romance between Jaina and Caligos, which I just roll my eyes at. You know, true love is what basically stops her. But yeah, let's just say from that point onwards, Jaina takes a darker turn. She's not the passive peacemaker anymore. And it wasn't just Jaina who was affected by this, but let's just say other people in the Alliance found out, and they, of course, think about what Theramore, what happened at Theramore, and think about, well, clearly this is just another demonstration of how horrible the Horde is. But, again, as we learn, that's more so Garrosh, not the Horde, considering what we find out later and learn when it comes to the divide amongst the Horde. So that all takes place, both the scenarios and the book, before the events of Pandaria. So now that helps kind of explain why, let's say, when there's a reference to what happened in Theramore, as we go through this story, you're going to understand why. But yeah, needless to say, this event had lasting consequences and impact. Since it's also going to lead to another event, which is even more horrible and darker, that just pushes Jaina really, really far. And she's not going to feel the consequences of it until later. As in, like, BFA. But that, she basically goes on this dark turn up until BFA, when something dramatically shifts her back into realizing just how far... Oh my gosh. What is this guy doing to just jump levels like this? This guy just jumped from to level 60, 50 and level 60 just like that. How? I am curious what exactly he was using there to do that. Unless he just has an extremely powerful cloak. It's not that powerful. But still. I was just about to ask that. But anyways, that's the Theramore scenario. On both sides. And we will be continuing the Alliance storyline here in this playthrough when we return. Stay tuned.